So I just put some of that in there. And so you're not eating the leaves, you're eating the flower. And so the phosphorus is for the flower, for the bloom. I just put a little bit on there.
Did you know you could buy garden crop insurance? It comes in a bag though. It's a pretty weird insurance policy. Hi, welcome back to the Organic Gardening, Homesteading, and Woodworking channel. Nice to see you back here again, every one of you. We really appreciate it. This time we're going to show you how to plant your brassicas, particularly your cauliflower and your broccoli. So we're going to show you what kind of soil amendments you might need. We're going to show you how we plant them, and then we're going to put a row cover over it. That's going to be in another video, so don't miss that. We show how to make the row cover hoops, and then we'll install it, so don't miss that video as well. So we'll show you now the soil amendments that you might need.
I just mix it up in a wheelbarrow, makes it easy. This is mostly dairy compost, and this is what the dairy compost looks like. It's basically cow manure and wood chips, sawdust, whatever, and composted. It's certified organic, and so it's a good all-around amendment, and it adds some biology to the soil. Then I like to add a little bit of gypsum in there just for the calcium and the sulfur content. So I just put some of that in there. And then there's the bone meal for the flowering, because the broccoli and the cauliflower is basically a flower, classified as a flower, because it just makes into a great big huge flower if you let it go. And so you're not eating the leaves, you're eating the flower. And so the phosphorus is for the flower, for the bloom. So that's why we use bone meal. It's high in phosphorus. It has a little bit of nitrogen in it, not very much. So if you have too much nitrogen, you're just going to have a big plant with no head on it, no flower. And you don't want that, because you're growing it just for the flower. And so cabbage is another brassica, but that's a leaf. You're eating leaves, you're not eating a flower. And so it takes a little different amendments to help that along. So there it all is, just mostly compost in there, dairy compost. So we're gonna take that over to the bed and sprinkle that on the row and just hoe it in a little bit, shallow.
We just had a little cloud burst, so the soil's a little wet. I'm going to use a hoe to work it in. Would you possibly use a tilther sometimes to do this part, Dad?
Yeah, I normally use a tilther if it's dry, but being that we just had that little downpour, it's too wet, and I don't want to compact the soil using a tilther.
Motorized.
So we just kind of pull the drip tapes aside, and
that is cilantro, right?
That's actually from last year.
Yeah, it's volunteer
made it
cilantro.
Through 10 degree below zero weather.
Wow.
So we'll just kind of
get it on there.
Sprinkle this along here. And I'm going to leave the cilantro in here just to interplant it, because we're still eating it, and the new crop hasn't come up yet. So I'm going to leave the interplanted in here with the broccoli and cauliflower. So I buy this compost, dairy compost, at the nursery, and you buy it by the yard, cubic yard, so it's pretty inexpensive.
You do have to watch out for those forever chemicals, but this has been pretty good product. And we haven't had any issues with this particular.
Yeah, you don't want those bad chemicals in there. You'll be ruining your crop for the whole year.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good enough for a little additional amendments. Now grab the hoe. Not sure which one is going to work best. I guess works all right. Just kind of work around the miscellaneous cilantro plants that survive the cold. And work it in between those plants a little bit. That's good enough for that row. That's good enough. All right. Now we'll put the drip tapes back where they go. You always gotta make sure that the holes in the drip tape are facing up. You don't want to put them down. So you don't clog that way. If you put them down, you have more problems with it clogging up.
Mm-hmm.
So then I just stick a staple in here every so often, just to keep it from blowing around in the wind. And it's best not to push the staples down too tight so that the tubing can move freely, expand and contract when the sun comes out. You can see there's lots of room there. It can move around freely. Looks like it's about, I think that's about where it goes. Let's see here.
Some people would possibly think it's a little hard to use the drip tape because you got to deal with it being in the way, but in your opinion, the benefit of drip tape outweighs the fuss and hassle?
Yeah, it does for me because I don't care for doing a lot of weeding. And if you do overhead water and it just germinates all kinds of weeds and you got a lot more weeding to do. And plus, this conserves a lot of water. I mean, it doesn't take near as much water to water a little strip.
That's a really good point.
Compared to overhead where you're watering everything.
Yeah.
And it's not hard once you kind of get used to what it requires. Okay. There. Now
hey, there's some little beauties. Look at that.
Yeah, they're. What's the date today? Is it March 27th? And we're planting these.
I'll look on my phone and not try to trip here as I walk backwards and hold the camera. Okay. It is the 28th.
28th, okay. So anyway, we're planting on March 28th. It's the right moon phase for them.
Okay.
And we got just one day to do it in, so we want to get them in. So this is the mycorrhizae we use. It's called VAM, and it has 7 different strains of mycorrhizae in there. You can see it on the back here. And we're just going to put a little bit of this right on the root as we take them out of the little cells in the tray, because it has to come into contact with roots in order for it to benefit from it. So what I like to do is just pop a little plant out of here and look at the roots in that thing. It should have been in the ground before now. So I just put a little bit on there, and then I'm going to put one right here. Okay. Just push it in like that, and then we're going to go down here. And you kind of see these plants a lot of times when people plant their broccoli and cauliflower and stuff. They come up out of this little cell, and then they go at a 90 degree and then go up like this. And so what I do is I make a big deep hole right in the cell, right in the center of the cell, and I put the seed clear down at the bottom. And so when the plant comes up, it germinates, it comes up, and then I just fill a little bit of potting soil around it. And that keeps it so you got a nice straight stem. You don't have this kink in the stem that so many of them have.
That's a great tip.
So that's what I like to do. And so we'll just go down here. There's another spot. Looks like some weeds of some sort. Okay. It doesn't take very much of this mycorrhizae at all to do the job. Just a little bit. That's all you need. Okay. And that was this variety. And these are the little 1-inch blinds, little mini blinds you can buy, just the vinyl mini blinds. And I just chop them up with a bandsaw or scissors, whatever, and make plant markers out of them. So I put the name of the variety facing that row of plants, and that way the sun doesn't bleach out the printing on the tag as easily. And so let's see, we're ready for another one here. And this is Green Magic. The family Green Magic is a pretty nice broccoli. It works really well for us in this climate. We're in zone 7A and B, just so you know where we're at, Southeast Washington. A lot of people ask on our videos where we're located, and that's where we're at. So it's a hot, dry, high desert type of climate. Not like on the other side of the mountains over Seattle where it's just tropical and rainy all the time.
So I see that the top of your cells, dirt, is a little bit below the top of the soil here where you're planting. So you're actually putting it below the...
Just a little deeper, yeah.
Like a 1/2 inch or 3/4?
Probably not even hardly, maybe a 1/2 inch.
Half inch, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there a reason for that?
I just like to give them a little more stability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've pulled up many plants that have the mycorrhizae on them, and then the ones that don't have it.
Oh, yeah?
And there's a big difference. Really? In the amount of root mass that there is. So it does help. Now, if you've done it, you know, and practiced organic gardening for a long time, I think you got plenty of mycorrhizae already in the soil, as long as you haven't been doing aggressive tilling and stuff, killing them. So, but just to make sure I always add a little bit anyway, just like an insurance policy.
So my dad has crop insurance. Did you know you could buy garden crop insurance? It comes in a bag though. It's a pretty weird insurance policy. It's called Endo.
So if your root ball is moist, that mycorrhizae sticks right onto it nicely. It doesn't just fall off, but these are a little bit dry.
So could you just kind of take it and stick it in the bag or a little container and just kind of dunk it in it or anything? Or is it you just like to sprinkle it over it? Like
I like to sprinkle it just so you don't waste. Yeah, you could, but there's probably an easier way if you just had this in an open tray or something and just tap it on there. But hard to teach old dogs new tricks.
You're not an old dog.
Okay, so that's Green Magic, so we're going to face that, show me which ones are on that side of the tag.
Oh, gotcha.
And
it's facing this way, and so Green Magics are all running down this way.
Until you come to the next tag, then you got a different variety.
Smart way to do it.
What do we got here? Okay, this is cauliflower here. And we're going to interplant it into the cilantro here.
Do you do any companion planting?
Not
really.
as such, no.
But you do interplanting.
I do. I like the interplant. Yeah, these are really dry. I should have watered them before I did this. It'll be okay.
So we will water them in a little bit?
Yeah, we'll water them in with a wand and make sure that they get a good dose right off the bat.
With the wand, not the drip.
Yeah. Ugh, feels like a gopher hole down in there.
Uh-oh. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It looks like a...
Cave it in. I think I got him, so I think this is an old hole.
Oh, okay.
I caught a great big old fat guy in here. We don't usually hardly ever have a gopher in the garden, thankfully.
Well, you wouldn't want my method of eradicating gophers in here.
It'd take care of the whole patch. The propane gas and a big kaboom.
Yeah.
It works though.
It does. I made a homemade rhodinator. If you guys have not heard of those, you take oxygen, so oxygen from oxygen tank, pure oxygen, and you take propane and you mix the two in a mixing handle or mixing device and inject it down the tunnel. And then shut off your valves and hit the ignition switch. And it can make a pretty fun, exciting way to make gophers leave or die in their holes. Makes dirt fly. We had a piece of dirt that flew higher than our house. And on our lawn, we had a bad gopher spot in there, and they had made a big hollow area where they were storing their grass and their seeds. And that filled up with propane and oxygen, and it sent a chunk of sod higher than our house.
Gave the old gopher a headache.
Yeah, a headache. He wouldn't forget it. He would never remember it.
Yeah, that's about as far as I want to go with that. So now I'm going to just start going back down this way. So then instead of just planting them right straight across from each other, I put them right in the center here, right in between these two, so that the roots have more room, so they don't have to compete with each other.
Yeah, so they're offset.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes it easy to space. You can just look and kind of go in between the two, and you're good to go. The mycorrhizae takes a little more time planting for sure, but I find that it's worthwhile. Okay, so this goes here. It looks like I need to make another marker for the, and maybe I got some more of those cauliflower, the same kind. Let me just continue on.
I love this spring weather.
Yeah, it's beautiful out.
It is. The birds, the moist soil, the green plants.
Okay, let's see. I'm just gonna put a stick here so I know where to mark it for the, but these are gonna be purple cauliflowers, so it'll be easy to tell anyway when they're mature what you got. Looks like this little cilantro plant's gonna have to go by the way, right where I wanna go. I'll just throw him in the compost pile.
These are purple cauliflower?
Yeah.
You know, last night we had a soup. My wife made a stew, and it looked like black stew. You know why?
Why is that?
She cooked it with purple potatoes.
Oh, okay.
And that stew looks so black. We were sitting at the table, and I said, it was a dark and stormy night. And the captain said, tell us a story, or however that story goes. And it's like the perfect soup for a dark and stormy night. But I couldn't believe how black it made the soup look.
And we could just dig holes along and then just put a little bit of mycos in the hole and the roots will find it. It's a lot faster way to do it. And it would be just as good. Maybe take just a little bit longer to get to it, but save a lot of time doing it.
What'd you put in here?
Just a little dab.
Just a little
Little
bit.
Yeah. It's much faster. Okay, that bed's planted and I got a few extras, so that's good. I'll find another spot for those, probably in the greenhouse. Okay, now we gotta get the time for the row cover to be put over there. So go find that and put that on. And you don't want to leave your VAM out in the sunlight. It's a black package, gets cooking hot. So you don't want to do that. You want to put this in the shade or inside somewhere and not leave it sit out while you're working.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial on how to plant your brassicas, your broccoli and cauliflower. That was a lot of fun. If you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And if you have a question, leave us a comment down in the section down below. And always remember, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life.